Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, May 31st. It is 6:25 right now. Market's going to open in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Just got a few things here to update and we should be good to go. All right, a few more things here. And looks like we're good. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, links are sent out. Go here and start marking liquidity. Going down to the 1 hour. Going down to the 30-minute. Going down to the 15. Going down to the 10-minute. And it looks like we are good to go. All right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today's Friday, May 31st, 6:28 right now. Market's going to open in about 2 minutes. I've just marked up liquidity over here. Closest level above is going to be at 38,336. And the closest level below is going to be at 38,180. Going over here to our clean chart on market 6:30. Mark of 8 o'clock. Go to the 4 hour time frame. Not much structure here aside from the support. Go down to the 1 hour. Heading resistance right there, but it's not currently established. So it's currently at the 1 hour resistance right now, it looks like. Coming back down from it. So we currently have a range right here. We have the 1 hour resistance and the 4 hour support down below. About it for now. We have news. We had news at 5:30. The news at 6:45. So news at 6:45. And of course, over here at 5:30, this big green candle. So, all right, guys, market's going to open up in about 15 seconds. We've marked the liquidity over here. Closest level of liquidity above is at 38,336. Closest level below is at 38,180. We're currently in a rejection off the 1 hour resistance. We have the 4 hour support down below. Market is now open. Mark this up. And we will see where this ends up going here. So we don't really have a trend that's established yet. Opening price pretty much lined up with the Asia high over here. So we'll see where this ends up going. Once we have a trend here, we'll start looking for some entries. I think I'm going to start factoring in the V1 variations and CV entries. We've been seeing those happen a lot lately, especially with the sideways movement. Those are perfect for those types of markets. So we'll be looking for V1 variations and CV entries in the direction of the trend in conjunction with our momentum divergences as well. So we might have a momentum divergence setting up over here. The only problem is that we'll have news down below kind of in the way. And then we have more news coming up over here at 6:45. The ATR is currently 17 right now, so it's not super flat. It's actually moving pretty decent right now. Yeah, Drew said tap news between from 5:30 fill the gap. Yeah, exactly. Kind of where I see it's going right here. So it's getting close to the news price right there. It's filling the gap from earlier. Right, it already filled the gap right there. So it's actually, yeah, it's bouncing off the gap right there. See if it breaks through, continues dropping. We don't have the trend fully confirmed yet, as you guys can see over here. Pivot 4 is going to cross once pivot 3 crosses below. Just leave it as is, wait for this here to kind of stabilize a bit, and then we'll be able to hop into our next entry here. So it looks like price is just sitting right here in between these sessions and the news price. Not really much movement. The ATR is still at 17, so volatility is there. There's just not much movement right now. All right, so price broke below the structure right here. What I'm going to be looking for, well, not structure, but the price structure basically. So what I'm going to be looking for is a retracement and then correction back down. And if it corrects back down to this point right here, I'm expecting it to push down to the next whole number right here at the 200 mark. So just keep that in mind. We got price retracing back up right here. This could also set up for a momentum divergence for a sell. Again, there's no trend here confirmed yet. So until then, there's not going to be any PRV setting up, no breakout V3s. I mean, nothing really. Price is pushing back up to the resistance over here. We'll see if it pushes up, bounces off the resistance, and then comes right back down. Or, I mean, price can break above it, consolidate here for a bit, and then continue climbing up higher. A lot of different scenarios here. The retail sentiment right now is currently 59% long. Fundamentals over here are pretty much flat. Breaking news over here, stocks rise as an inflation measure comes in about as expected. This was reported at 6:32. So that's pretty much what caused the drop right there. 6:32 price came down and then it corrected right back up right here. So here we are at the 1 hour resistance point. We'll see if it breaks through or if it continues to bounce off it. All right, so if this is the case right here, this is fine. I mean, we'll see where price ends up pushing from here, but it's going to be pushing up pretty strong. So it looks like it faked out the sellers right here at the sessions, and then it came right back up. You want to be careful because the same thing can happen again over here. Price is now at the top sessions, it can fake out right here and then come right back down, right? Same difference in both directions. This is typical from what we've seen for the past 4 days now. A lot of whipsaw movements. Basically established a lower low right here, which is the support level. So you have the 1 minute support right here. And now it was pushing past the 1 hour resistance. And it's starting to lose its steam right there. Yeah, next hit we almost got the triple confluence right there, but it broke right through the sessions. This one over here had another pending buy signal, but again, it pretty much disappeared. So we have a pending buy signal right here. The pivots have shifted, so we have a bullish trend. One thing to look out for here is a possible fake out up here. Price pushed up, hit the upper level of liquidity right there, if anybody caught that. So upper level liquidity right there got hit. You guys can see price is starting to fake out up here. Be careful with any entries. So it's faking out, coming back to retest the New York high right here. Again, we have medium impact news coming up over here at 6:45. We got Chicago PMI for May, inflation news. I'm surprised the core PCE price index was pretty much on point. It's never on point. And it was like literally spot on for what their consensus was. There just wasn't any change. So price is over here kind of sitting around this area. I think what might happen here is price might just consolidate until news at this point. Once the inflation news is released, so we got 6:45, we'll start to see some movement. We do have a bullish trend, so a couple things that can be coming up here are the PRB. So we have a bullish trend here. Price comes down, bounces off the pivot, consolidates a bit, retraces back, bounces off again. That could be the PRB entry. All right, we got a pending buy signal here. The buy signal hasn't closed. So until the buy signal closes, we won't really have any opportunity for any momentum divergence to the upside. We still have that sell signal that's currently active. So like I said before, guys, I'll be looking for some V1 variations and some CV entries. So if we get a V1 variation here, it's something I'll possibly be looking to take. We have a low right here. Looking for possibly a CV, but didn't really come up with that initial big red candle that was there. So no V1 variation there. There's no lineup with a double body or double wick. Yeah, it looks like we're just gonna get some consolidation here until news price at 6:45. 6:45 Chicago PMI, guys. So if you guys are not familiar with that, it's inflation news. So unfortunately, the V1 variation did not set up right here. I was hoping for a V1 variation double body rejection, and I was gonna be okay with taking that to the upside. But since we don't have it, nothing there. Like Nick said, we might get a triple confluence though right here as well. So I'll be looking for that too. So you might get a triple confluence here. If it breaks and closes above the line. Got about 9 seconds, not looking like it's gonna close above it. It might happen at the last second, but it's gotta be for sure. And it didn't. So there was no triple confluence right there, guys, unfortunately. Would have been a nice entry if it did close, but not quite. There is a high-low scalp right here that might be setting up though. Again, the candles aren't very strong, so I'm gonna hold off on this here. Yeah, if you guys want to take the high-low scalp, I think price over here is kind of tricky because it looks like it's going sideways up until news. We got news coming up in about 5 minutes. Last thing I want to do is get caught in a position for the next 5 minutes once news is released. The news over here is forecasted to be positive. So this is probably like a pre-news movement. A lot of people are anticipating it to be positive news. So a lot of people are starting to push price up before news happens. So if you guys want the high-low scalp, there's a high-low scalp setup right there. I'm not taking it, but just mark it up for you guys right there if you guys want to take it. I'll wait until after news because it's medium impact news, so I don't want to get caught in the consolidation here. I think price will most likely just consolidate for a little bit. Let's see, the mall said NT chart and YM slightly different. It looks fine on my end, the mall. Make sure you're on YM and you're not on ES. That's typically what happens with a lot of people. I'm looking at both of them right now. They look exactly the same to me. I don't know if anybody else is having that issue that Lamal's mentioning, but I'm looking at it right now and it looks exactly the same. Does it look different on yours, Nick? I know you're usually looking at that, Nick, to see if it's moving differently. Yeah, Nick said it's fine on his too. Yeah, mine doesn't look like that. Well, it's just yours. I'm not sure why yours looks like that. Do you have the current date on yours? Yours might be delayed. You might want to log out, log back in. Because mine, yeah, mine doesn't look like this. No, mine looks fine. Yeah, I didn't get that wick, so I have no wick there on mine. Mine looks exactly how it does here on TradingView. So mine's good, Nick's good. Akil said his is slightly different. Does yours look like Lamal's, Akil? Like, do you have that big wick there? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anybody else has it, Lamal. I think it's just you. Possibly. Yeah. I think it's just your data, Lamal. It's probably your internet was kind of slow. So you just had to like refresh it or yeah, it just might have been your internet. So if you guys ever have that issue where the candles look different, just log in, log out, and it'll usually refresh your chart. Because sometimes it's just internet connection is a little slow and it doesn't follow through. All right, guys, we got news coming up over here in about 2 minutes. Once the news is released, we can start looking for some possible entries here. This is the only news event for today. Perfect. So once this is passed, we'll be able to start looking for some opportunities here for entry. Right. So we got news here in about a minute. Once the news here passes, we'll start looking for some opportunities. Um, Mark this up right here. So here's the 1 minute resistance point. You can see how price faked out up here. Perfect. Yeah, kill. He just reconnected and it's fixed now. Yeah. So if you guys ever have issues with your charts, just disconnect, reconnect, and it'll usually fix it. Drew said this might be a big range based on how the week is going. Yeah, I could see that too. This could be the fake out, and this could just be the range right here in this area. So we'll see what happens here in a few moments when news is released. You got news in 3, 2, 1. Here goes news candle right here. News was News hasn't been released yet, but I'm assuming it's spot on or positive. Still not released. Still not released. All right, price is coming back down right here. This is fine. With price coming down like this. I'm surprised that news still hasn't been released yet. Well, the news is probably released. It's just not on the website yet. All right, so we got the retracement right here. We got price pulling back into the range, just like we discussed with Drew. Yeah, this will probably range sideways. It might come back down and retest these sessions, maybe bounce off here, maybe break below, bounce off there. I mean, there's a lot of different opportunities here that can, not really opportunities, but a lot of different scenarios here that can play through. So price is currently pulling back into the range. Same thing that's been happening pretty much every day. So Chicago PMI was actually very negative. So that's why price started dropping right there. People started, once the news came out, people started chasing the drop. So it was 37.9 last month, forecasted to be 41. It was actually 35.4. So it was actually worse than last month. Yeah, and price starting to dump right back down right here. There's a high-low momentum scalp right there, higher high, sell signal broken close past pivots 1 and 2. We got price dumping right back to opening price right here. So we got price, target price point is going to be opening price down here for it to come back down and retest. Here's a clean chart. All right, so price is kind of just sitting down here now. There is a V1 variation, possibly a CV entry setting up right here. I probably, never mind, take that back. The lower low got pushed lower. So I was looking to see how far that would have pushed up, but not too much space. So here we go. Price is back at opening price. We'll see if it bounces off here, if it continues to drop. We're still in a bullish trend somewhat, but obviously it is shifting a little bit. Let's take a look at the bigger picture. 4 hours still bearish. 1 hour is bearish, shifting to bullish. 30 minutes bearish, shifting to bullish. 10 minute is bullish, 5 minutes bullish, and the 1 minute here was bullish. Now it's back to bearish or shifting to bearish. So we pretty much got a mixed market here. There's not really much of alignment with regard to all the time frames here. Everything's kind of just all over the place. So we don't really have much of an overall bias here. Price here rejected directly off opening price. We'll see what happens here next. The trend here is attempting to shift a little bit. No entries here. Right now, I was really hoping we get some directional movement today, at least, to kind of shake out this week, but this could be a possible CV entry right here, guys. If this candle closes as a small green candle, this could be, or not a small green candle, but small enough. This could be a possible CV entry that could be setting up here. It's going to be hard to tell though, because this candle and this candle are not. They're going to be too similar in size. So I wouldn't take it. It's just a little too tricky because this candle here is not really big. Like it would have to be a lot bigger. So it could be super obvious that it's a CV entry. Yeah, exactly. CJ said put us back in between the sessions. So that's pretty much where we're at right now. We're in between two sessions right here and opening price. So we're between the London high, which is right here, and the Asia high, which is down here, which is also opening price. So I think price is going to possibly consolidate here a little bit before it starts to move directional. It's in an area of manipulation right here down the middle. So it'll probably go back and forth for a bit before it ends up breaking out to the upside or breaking out to the downside, of course. All right, still got nothing here. See, Drew said might retrace to pivots and bounce and consolidate. Yeah, I could see that too. So it's probably going to bounce and consolidate around this middle area right here for the most part. Barack said this is exactly why I feel YM has been getting on my nerves. Yeah, I know. I mean, this is the same thing that's been happening every single day for the past couple of weeks now, right? On market open right here, we get the whipsaw. It's the same thing that happens every single day. We get the drop to the bottom, pushes right back up, whipsaws back to where it was originally, and then now it just consolidates right here. The same thing pretty much just repeats itself. I was trying to figure out some way for us to get, some sort of entry at the whipsaw, but it's tricky because you don't always get some sort of specific pattern that happens. So I was looking for a V1 variation pattern that could possibly indicate the reversal right here, but we didn't really have that here. I mean, you could have taken this as something else like any V2, V3, but for the most part, the V1 here that we typically look for, double body, double wick, didn't happen. Same with this up here. I mean, price hit a high point, but it didn't necessarily establish, a reversal pattern. I was looking for that double body, double wick. Didn't really happen up here. It's kind of messy. Like this could have been a fake out area right here because this was a higher high. So you can't always trade off the higher high because right here, price established the higher high, went sideways for a little bit, pushed up a little bit higher to shake them out, and then it came right back down. So, I mean, depending on your stop loss would have to be super wide. Maybe like a 50-50, but it's nothing to really, it's not a pattern to follow. All right, so price is consolidating right here, just like we anticipated. Not really too much going on. I'm just gotta wait for price to break out of this consolidation. Yeah, Barack said it just sits around most of the time. Most of the sessions open into mid-morning. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of how it's been for open pretty much every day. The volatility isn't very consistent. It'll be volatile like for the first couple minutes, then it'll die down, then it'll pick up a little bit, then it'll die down. For the most part, it stays pretty flat. So we got price breaking below the opening price right here and the Asia high. We'll see here if we start to get some sort of confirmation. Well, actually not really. I was going to say there is a momentum divergence, but the trend here hasn't confirmed yet. And it's also at opening price and the session. So it's not one that I would personally mess with, but yeah, there was a divergence right here. As you guys can see, small little divergence, but the trend here hasn't confirmed yet. So obviously not one that I would personally be looking to take, but there is a divergence that happened right here. Would have hit TP, but again, it just doesn't meet the criteria. So this is the issue. There's no direction, so it's hard to get these divergences in because you try to trade in the direction of the trend right here. Obviously, the trend was barely shifting and it had not confirmed yet. Penny said he's kind of liking the range we've been in. There's been some nice moves in between from top to bottom and vice versa. Yeah, the thing with this though is that I don't want to get too used to this, right? Because we're starting a new month tomorrow, or not tomorrow. Yeah, basically tomorrow. We're starting a new month next week, and these ranges could just disappear. So yeah, if you guys are trading within the range, just be careful because this might not continue for the next month, right? We're getting towards the end of the month here. And that's why like there's not really a reason for me to change. The only thing that I would be adding to this would be the V1 variations and the CB entries. So like for example, here, if we have a bearish trend, I'm going to be looking for like basically what you said, Kenny. I'd be looking for price to hit the top range, reject off it for a reversal and come back down. I would take the entry in the direction of the trend, but I wouldn't be trading in both directions. So if you're trading in both directions now, I would just be wary because we're going into June. Obviously, June is a brand new month, and it's technically the summer, first month of summer. So, I mean, we'll see if summer moves how it typically does, it'll probably continue to consolidate in range. But by the way that the market's currently moving, it looks like we're going into a market shift. So it might not move like how it's always been during the summer, and it might actually be volatile during the summer. Um, and it might just shift things around. Like, so everything looks like, or it seems like the seasons are kind of pushed back one season. But we don't really know. We'll see. Also, Trump just got, you guys already saw what happened with him. So, I mean, we'll see if that affects the elections as well. If he's still going to be running. I think he'll still be running. So we'll just have to see how that affects the market. There's just a lot of different factors in the market that will push price around. And I think because we've had such a slow year to start, summer might just be a little more volatile than it usually is. But we'll see. Nice. Rashida said she had a sell stop, so she caught it at the lower liquidity. Nice work. So the lower level of liquidity, I guess you guys mark it up right there, right at the lower low. Solid. Um, yeah, Nick said it's especially hard to get optimal entry when it ranges like this because it leaves sessions in the same area. Yeah, that's the worst part. So I think the worst part about price ranging, like I would be okay with price ranging back and forth. The only thing that I don't like about price ranging like this is that it gets stuck in between the sessions, right? So even though we'll get like a decent setup, we can't really take a trade because the sessions are in the way, right? That's the main thing about the ranging market. Like I'm okay with trading in a ranging market. I just don't like when it's like in between the sessions. If the sessions are like way up here or way down here, then great. I can take entries in between. But the problem with this here is that price just ends up sitting where the sessions are at. And then I just can't take any trades around any of these areas, right? Because there's not enough space. There's not enough space down here for us to take entries. There's not enough space in between here, of course. Not enough space right here. And not enough space in between here. So like it kind of sucks because we need price to actually push out of these areas for us to take some entries. Like we need price to be out here or we need price to be down here. And that's kind of the dilemma that we're in because we don't want to change our trading style. We don't want to change our criteria or any of that stuff. And the problem is that like it makes it very slim for opportunities to come up here because there are entries that come up. The only problem is that because we're in the situation that we're currently in, it makes it super difficult to find something that's not touching a red flag. And that's the worst part about this. Ranging markets are fine. For me, typically, I'm okay with ranging markets because the V1s play very nicely in them. But like there's a V1 right here, I wouldn't take it because it was against the trend. But the V1s do play through. So like there's a V1. This is actually V1 entry, and it did push up at least 12 points. Yeah, Daniel said there was an MPS that was hit. It was at the sessions though. Yeah, so price came down right here. Retraced right here. The entry would have happened at like this 50 mark and would have came back down to TP. However, it was right at the session. So of course, just a little tricky here again. As you guys can see. It's just the same issues that we've been running into. Drew said, nervous for a huge random retracement candle to stop the sellers on this drop after news. Yeah, and I agree too. I kind of see that happening here. Because now there's a gap right here between, right? Now from the news candle over here, there's a gap right there. So If it comes up and fills a gap, gonna push back to this upper area. So I think if price breaks below news price right here, possibly continuation or possible fake out. Two different things that can play out through here. There's a momentum divergence here, but again, this momentum signal has kind of been used up already. So we had a sell signal, bearish divergence, bullish, bearish divergence, bullish, bearish divergence. So technically this right here is another momentum divergence. I probably wouldn't take it. There's too many here. And it's also touching news price. Would have been a nice entry though. See right there. So as you guys can see, like this is what I just keep saying, like there's entries that come up, but the problem is that it happens at these red flags. So that's where it becomes an issue for us because I mean there's opportunities here. It just depends on your risk appetite, right? For me, I'm not going to take these trades because I don't want to trade at the red flag. The thing is, like, you might see these trades hit, but then as soon as you take your one trade that's at a red flag, you're probably going to lose it. And you're going to lose your mind because you could have easily just avoided that trade. It happens to us all the time. That's what we call FOMO moves, right? If you get FOMO, like you see all these trades hit throughout the red flag sessions, news price, opening price, etc. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to take this one trade. The one trade you take, it loses. And you're like, fuck, I should have just avoided it. Yeah, exactly. Rashida said all the time, as soon as you take it, boom. Exactly. So that's why I just avoid it altogether, right? I don't let FOMO get the best of me. This whole month has been a FOMO month for me. It's unfortunate. We've had a lot of good wins, but we've also had losses due to FOMO, and that kind of screwed up with my win rate for this month. I'm currently at break even overall for the month of May. If you factor in all of the official trades, for this week, I'm in the red. So I'm hoping we get at least one or two trades here to kind of push us out of that break even range. I don't remember the last time we've had a break even or a red month. It's been probably like over a year. If you guys have been trading with me every day or a month at least. Just this month's been kind of different. Typically these ranging typically these ranging markets, they usually last for maybe a month, not a month. They usually last for maybe a couple of days or maybe even a whole week, but then they start to move directional. Unfortunately for May, this has been the case for the entire month. I think every month, every week, we've kind of been hoping that price would move directional. I mean, this is the lowest amount of trades we've had in a month that I can even remember. You can see all the empty boxes here because these are typically filled. We've only had 13 trades for the entire month of May, which is crazy because that means that we didn't even have. There's been like some weeks where we've only had like one trade or so. So, I mean, it's all good. It is what it is. I'm super glad that May's over and we're going into June because we need it. Like something has to happen in the market. The market can't keep going sideways like this forever, right? Market always moves in different cycles. So if you guys know how the market cycles move, it typically moves directional, then it consolidates, then it moves directional, then it consolidates, then it moves directional, right? So since it's been moving sideways this entire month, I'm expecting some extension and continuations for June, hopefully. Let's see, CJ's asking, was that a valid high-low scalp? I see you have something highlighted in pink on your chart at 32,223. That's news price from 530 CJ. All the high lows I mark up with a blue line. So if it's ever a high-low point, I mark it up with a blue line. The pink lines are always going to be news price. It's the same thing that's like marked up right here. So this was the news at 645. This was the news at 530. That big green candle right here. All right, so we got a buy signal right here. Prices retracing back up to the pivots. All right, we got price pushing up a little bit. I'll be looking for a possible V1 variation up here. Never mind, I take that back. I was looking for price to possibly come up a little bit, reverse up here and come back down, but price already came back down right there. So it's just another fake out right here at the sessions. Price pushed up to lure in some buyers that think that price is going to push up. Now it comes right back down. All right. So here's the actual range. As you guys can see, the fake outs are pretty clear. So there's a fake out up here. Price came back lower. Fake out down here. I take off the 1 hour resistance level right there. You guys can see things a lot more clear. I'm going to take off this 1 hour resistance. So you guys can see the range right here. This is the range from today. Price came down and established the support. Price came up, established the resistance, pushed up a little bit, faked out, pulled back into the range, broke below it right here, faked out, then it came right back into the range. So price is back in the range right now. It's actually consolidating around the support level. So it's just consolidating down here at the support level. It's the same thing that happened yesterday. If this is the same market as yesterday, it's just going to consolidate around this area for a while. This is literally what happened yesterday. So if you guys want to look for some entries, possibly what I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be looking for some possible V1 variations or some CV entries. So I'll be looking for price to come up, double body, double wick, come back down. Same thing. If I can't get no momentum divergences, I'll be looking for some V1 variations or some CV entries around those points. The only problem with this here again is the fact that it's in between the sessions, right? This is the thing that we just keep talking about. It's there's entries that come up, but the problem here is that it's right at the red flag, so that it's hard to take entries here. Price would need to push up a little bit higher, then come back down. That's like one case, and then same with this right here. We have news price down here as well. So it's a frustrating market. Really hoping price will do something here, but then again, odds of it actually doing something are very unlikely. Unless price pushes down further and then retests the 4 hour support down here. And then this becomes a range. That could be a case right there. If price pushes below this point and actually ranges down here, I'm actually better with this because this here is not going to have all the red flags. We might have another Asia low down there, I believe. So the Asia low is right here where the support's at. That's pretty much it. Other than that, we have a whole big space right here to trade in. So personally, I would want price to come back down lower. That's ideally, that would be the case. I mean, it's not always going to play through like that, but ideally, that's where I would want price to be, somewhere down there. So we got a pending sell signal right here. We have bearish momentum. We got price breaking back down below this area. I think price is going to push down to this whole number right here, guys. So I'm just looking at my pattern right here again. So see how price broke below right here. It retraced back up and then it came back down below. So I think target price point is going to be this whole number right here, 200 mark. So you guys can just see how price is flowing through here. That's kind of where I see price going down. To retest, or not retest, but to test the whole number down here. It's kind of what I see happening right here, but I mean, it might not be a smooth move. That it's having trouble getting past the news price down there. Yeah, exactly. Rashida said, yeah, me too. No dumb moves, guys. We're almost at payout request days. Don't let it come to us. Don't force it. Exactly. So you just gotta let it come to you guys, right? Just like we've been saying, don't force any trade. Just wait for the trade to come to you. Don't try to look for something. Just let it show up. And once it shows up, you can take that entry. But yeah, again, right here, as you guys can see, price is still sitting within the support level. I mean, this is like literally where it's been sitting, where it's going to be sitting probably. Again, ideally, we'd want price to break below and come back below this point, but it's going to take some time. There's no news today after this. I mean, there's news at like 10, I believe, but there's no other news here during this live session. So market's pretty much clear for the most part. It just needs to start moving in a direction. Let's check out CNBC real quick. All right, breaking news. Says Trump campaign raises a record 34.8 million in donations after guilty verdict. So, the thing is, I'm pretty sure he's still going to run, because if you guys read the news following his guilty verdict, it mentioned that the judge is not required to give him jail time. So I don't think they're going to give him jail time. They're still going to let him run. He just received like a ton of donations. I know we don't like talking politics on here, but it's going to affect the market. So if that becomes the case, and whatever happens with him, that's going to hopefully push the market in a direction for the summer. So we will, obviously we'll see. We'll see where this ends up going from there. I'm glad May's over. May's usually a month that I look forward to because it's like the last month before summer, but I'm glad May's over. It's probably been the worst trading month we've had in a long time. Even this month's actually been worse than it was when we were taking the BB3. Like April was kind of tricky, but it wasn't as bad as this, where we ended up at break even. Yeah, because April was actually pretty decent. And then if you look at the BB3 results for April, it was slightly red. But for the most part, I mean, we picked back up in April because we bounced back from those BB3 losses. And then this month just became super duper flat. So, but it's all good. I mean, that's the market, guys. You can't time the market. A lot of people always ask, like, when's the best time to trade? When should I trade? When should I get into the market? When should I learn to trade? You should learn to trade all the time so that when the market actually moves directional and it has good opportunities, you're ready to hit the ground running. You just have to be ready at all times. When the market goes sideways, you just have to understand that's the time when to sit and just to be patient. Entries will happen and market volatility will pick back up. So right here, price broke below news price, and we're now just looking for this here to push through. All right, so we're getting some volatility here. Rashida said if he runs after being guilty, I'm doing all white collar crimes. Don't want to hear nothing, right? Exactly. All right, guys, so we finally got that push below. It's pushing down to the 4-hour support level. Price is currently at the 4-hour support level right there, as you guys can see. So we got some direction here. More direction would be nice, but if it just ends up consolidating and ranging down here, that's fine because there's not as many red flags down here. So I'm okay with price being down in this area over here. But price is rejecting off the 4-hour support that I marked at pre-market. We're getting a V1 pattern back up. I personally wouldn't take it, but this looks like it's going to be a CB entry. So if this candle closes as a smaller green candle, odds of this pushing up at least 10 points are likely. I'm not going to take it because, like I said, I'm still a trend trader. So regardless of the fact, I'm not going to trade. I'm not going to thinking about the name. I'm not going to reverse trade or counter trend trade. That's what it is. Okay. Sorry, I forgot. I'm not going to counter trend trade, even though there's a possible counter trend entry right there. I'm going to stick with my trend, and I'm going to look for a V1 pattern or a CV pattern from the upside to come back down. We also got liquidity down below right here as well. So price may continue dropping. Target price point right here is going to be liquidity, of course. There's no V1 or CV entry there, so that candle actually did close green, still dropping a little further, trying to make its way down to the liquidity down there. Kips to the 3-minute pivot hit for 25 points. Nice work, Kip. There. Liquidity is at 38,180 for Sheeta. It's almost there. It came really close to it, didn't actually touch it yet. So 38,180. It's kind of tricky though, because it's at the 4-hour support. So I'd be careful with taking anything down there. Because it's like literally in the support right there. Like it would have to push down deep into the support. But as you guys can see over here, price is ranging and consolidating within this lower range now. This is kind of what we were expecting anyways. So I'm cool with this. This works for me. Just saw your message, Kenny. No, I agree. Hopefully it causes the market to kind of move around again. That's because like during election time, usually like price will be pushed, it'll be climbing super high or it'll be dropping super low, but we get like a continuous direction of price movement. Yeah, Drew said thought it would have been a V1 back to range like the rest of the week. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happened right there. So the V1 actually did come up right there. It was an engulfing candle. And then it's pretty much pulled back into that range. Yeah, it's literally what happened. So the V1 variation came up right there. Counter trend trade, of course, it's against the trend. So I wouldn't have taken it. But yeah, reversal pattern from the downside, came back up, and then now it's coming right back down. But realistically, it's just going to go sideways here, it looks like. All right, so we might get a momentum divergence here, guys. That's something to look out for here as well. So a couple of different opportunities here. Kenny just mentioned the MPS just got hit. Yeah, the MPS is right here, guys. I'm not sure if anybody caught that, but the MPS did come up right here. So this big green candle pushed up. Entry was at the 20 mark, came right back down, hit TP right there for the MPS. I didn't even spot that because everything just started kind of moving a little too quick. All right, so we have a possible V1 variation right here. It's rejecting off the news candle. So I'm going to see how this candle closes. Like I said, the news candle isn't as important as, say, the sessions or opening price. So I may be okay with taking this trade here. I just have to see how the candle closes. Like it has to be a for sure red candle. I can't have it where it's kind of bouncing back and forth at the last second. Right here, again, it's not even looking like it's going to close red anymore. So I take that back. Yeah, because typically if you get a V1 variation and it's aligned with the CV, odds of it hitting are more likely than not. Like the probability of that hitting are pretty decently high. But again, there's nothing there. I mean, it's no longer going to be a CV because this would have to be higher. The high would have to be a green candle. So we might get another one here, but never mind, take that back. Yeah, Kip said the V1 will probably come from the sessions or in that structure, if any. Yeah, so price might even reject off the pivots right here, establish a V1 variation, and then come its way right back down. So that's kind of what I'm looking out for. There's no V1 variation here. There's no double body or double wick, unfortunately. It's kind of hoping this candle would just close green. Like to push up a little more, close green, and then see it come down further. All right, so we got nothing here. So yeah, I was hoping this candle here would close green, and then we have the V1 variation off the pivot, but obviously didn't play through. The next thing that I'll be looking for here is a possible momentum divergence. So we're within the range right here. I'm looking for price to maybe bounce off the structure and then come back down. I think for me personally here, I might just disregard the news price because I don't think the news price is going to be super important. You can see how many times prices already passed through the news price, so that I'm not expecting liquidity to be sitting here. Obviously, price is just ranging around this area. So we got a new high right here. Again, I would like the candle to close green, or even higher. Like I was hoping to close like a strong green candle, and then obviously a correction back down. Yeah, Drew said pivot four is right at open, might pop off that. Yeah, I can see that too. So like Drew said, price might just pop up right here and then bounce off. Rejection of opening price plus the pivot four. Price is currently just sitting at the resistance right now. You guys can see the range. So I think a V1 pattern here could be nice because a V1 pattern would probably push price back into the range below. All right, so price is inching back up to opening price right there. See if it bounces off and comes back down from here. So here we go. Here is the rejection off the resistance. So again, price, if it does come back down, target price point is going to be the liquidity down below. It still hasn't touched it yet. But if it does range back down like it's supposed to, you guys can see my markup here from the levels chart. Price pretty much did what we expected. It came down, came up, and then, with the flow of price, it came right back to this whole number right here where it faked out, pulled back up. And it's now it's almost at the whole number. There we go with the rejection right there. Price is currently at the opening price. So what I'm going to be looking out for here is the fake out. So I'm going to look for price to possibly fake out of this area right here, and then maybe pull back below. Otherwise, if this lower point was the fake out, this could have been the fake out right here too. It just pulls back into the upper range over here. But ideally, I think the fake out's going to happen from up here. It's probably going to come back down. Let's see, Kip said, I needed to reject at the prior lower high or the London sessions before I'd be comfortable with calling it a reversal. Yeah. Ideally, that would be key. But it looks like price is just faking out. So this is the key thing to look at. Whenever price breaks past structure, look for the fake out, right? Because that's typically what happens. Price breaks structure right here, fake out. Price breaks structure right here, fake out. Price breaks structure right here, another fake out. Price break structure over here, fake out. Another fake out right here. And here we go as price pulls right back to the range down below. Yeah, Kevin said fake out Friday. Exactly right. Another dub day for this week. Let's see, Rashida said caught that limit order, sell off the open. Nice. Solid. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what we were expecting. We were looking for the fake out to happen around this area right here. Again, it's kind of tricky. There's no confirmations here. I mean, if you're taking trades off these points, you got to be super quick. You can't be waiting. Like, I'm glad that Rashida had a limit order there because it filled it right away, hit her TP, and looking good. So Kenny over here said that ES and NQ are dumping. Let's take a look. So ES is dumping. Yeah, it's moving pretty smoothly right now. NQ as well. Yeah, so ES and NQ are actually moving in parallel with each other. So if that's the case, look out for YM because YM will typically follow. Usually YM is the leading indicator or the leading asset because it's less. But yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then I'm probably expecting a correction to happen here back to the downside. Yeah, usually YM moves first, and then when YM moves, the other ones follow because this is like 30 stocks versus NASDAQ, which is 100 stocks, and ES, which is 500. That's why they move a little bit smoother because there's more stocks in that index. I mean, we'll see. Well, I mean, I guess YM did technically lead the way because it started dropping from right here. So at 641, it started dropping. Yeah, so it did lead the way because at 641 over here, it was still climbing up. So at 641 right here, it was climbing up and then it started coming down at 645. So it's still leading. I mean, YM was the one that initiated the drop because the drop started happening over here at 641. Yeah, so that drop was probably just a late reaction to YM because YM started dropping at 641 and ES didn't start dropping until 645, like 5 minutes later. So, I mean, I wasn't following both, but typically if you guys want to look at like a correlating asset, or like if you're trading ES, you can look at YM first because if YM starting to turn, then the thing is ES might turn too. So looking at ES over here, so see how ES is starting to turn to the upside? This here is probably going to continue climbing. The reason why it's going to continue climbing is because YM over here started climbing already at 714. So 714 is where the reversal happened over here for, see, yeah, you can see over here, ES is just lower. So ES is actually, I mean, I don't know, they're typically parallel of each other, but right now they're kind of both moving and they're moving like, they're kind of moving parallel and then they kind of do their own thing. So YM again is back up here above opening price. The reversal did not happen yet. You know, back to what Kip was saying, you know, he needs the wake rejection off structure. So like price is pushing up higher. I think price may climb up a little bit higher, maybe come back down, or I mean, we might have a full on reversal here and price might just swing back up. 728 right now, unfortunately, the market is still pretty flat and there's nothing for us here to take. The ATR is pretty high, so there's movement, but it just keeps moving around areas where we can't really trade. So I'm hoping we get some more volatility right here. Price maybe dumps right back down. I mean, if not, price looks like it might just consolidate around opening price for a while, which is not what we wanted. The ATR is currently at 20 right now, so there is volatility. So it looks like another fake out right here, as you guys can see. The fake out here didn't actually play through yet. It's just consolidating. So let's see if this is the actual fake out and it pulls back into the lower range now. All right, Akil. Yeah, Akil's gonna call it, guys. See you in June. Yeah, definitely. June, hopefully June will be a lot better and we can go back to normal. Because I'm okay with catching like 1 or 2 entries a day, right? I think I'm fine with that for the most part. It's just Yeah, market we're in. All right, so we got this right here. Price is coming right back down. Looks like it's aiming for liquidity down below. Okay, so we're finally back into the lower range. You have to wait for this candle to actually close though, because if the candle doesn't close below the resistance right here, then it's probably going to just get sucked right back up into that upper area. Even better if the sell signal closes, that's an even better sign. So it looks like it's getting sucked back into the resistance right there. So as I said, look for the candle to close below the resistance. It didn't close here, so it's still stuck within this range consolidation up here. You can see how it's having trouble closing below, because once it closes below, you'll have that confirmation that price is likely to keep dropping into the range. But because it's not, I mean, realistically, it's probably just going to keep consolidating within this middle area here, of course. And that's what makes it annoying, because you can't really take anything around that area. Yeah, Daniel said he's scared it. All right. So we will continue to wait here. All right, back into consolidation here. Oh, nice, Daniel. Yeah, the X just came in on the list too, I believe. The X is what I wanted, but now it's kind of pointless. I guess I could restructure it, right? I could just restructure it now to be an X or a macro. Yeah, I just went shooting yesterday with my brother. He got a new Glock 19. And then he's building an AR right now. Yeah, Nick, the restrictions here in California are dumb. And they have the new law. I don't know if you saw that new law. Daniel, they're like basically double taxing here in California now. So I have until like June 11 to get something new before you get double taxed. Or actually triple tax. You basically get triple tax because you get the California tax, plus you get the gun tax, plus you get the California gun tax. It's crazy. Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, I wanted to get an AR, but it's like I went to the shop yesterday and it's just weird how you have to drop the I mean you guys probably don't have it out there to drop the mag. You have to open the receiver to drop the mag. All right, guys, so price is still consolidating within the resistance right here. There is no, there's just nothing here. Price is still sitting within the resistance right here, nothing going on. It's bouncing back and forth. All right, we're having another attempt right here for price to break and close below the resistance level over here. Let's see if it actually pushes through. Again, price dropped down to the lower end of it, bounced right off it. Yeah, exactly right, JJ. Make it so hard for us here in California, or just in the US in general. All right, so the price did not break past the structure right here. Again, guys, you guys can see this is really where price is sitting. So this is where to focus on, because whenever price breaks out of this area, it's typically going to fake out. So price pushes above, fakes out, pulls back in. Price breaks below, fakes out, pulls back in. There's no direction here. The ATR is still pretty decent. It's currently at 20 ATR, so price is moving. It's just not moving any direction. It's going sideways. So, like back to what we were talking about yesterday with Lamal, he was asking about like, why don't you trade off support resistance? This is kind of why, because you could trade off support resistance in a situation like this, but if it's ranging farther out, then, great. But if it's consolidating like this, it's like almost impossible. The range right here is so tight that, I mean, if you wanted to catch the bounces, you technically can. So if you guys want to do something super, super risky, I mean, you can pretty much, whenever price comes down, just have like a buy limit right here. Catch it for about, I wouldn't even go for 10 points, maybe even like less. But if you wanted to, you can catch it for a quick 10 points there and a quick 10 points here. But in a situation like that, you have to understand when to cut it out. So yeah, if you were to do something like that, I'd probably do for a 1-to-1. Just so that you can just, scoop up profits there, and then when it's done and it stops you out, you're pretty much done for that little cycle there. But there's a ton of ways to there's still ways to make profit in this market. It's just, it's not the way that I personally would recommend. Like I would still recommend trading with a bias. Right now, the trend is, I mean, it's still technically bearish, but it's kind of hard to confirm that. Okay, so we have price breaking and closing below here. Finally, below the resistance. Now, what you want to look for here again, guys, is the possible fake out. So look for price to either continue dropping or look for the possible fake out and correction back up. My guess is that it's going to keep dropping. I don't think it's going to fake out on this one here, but I mean, we'll have to wait and see. We have a sell signal here currently. This could be a possible breakout V3 continuation. So if anybody's looking to take this as a breakout V3 continuation, I was kind of okay and inclined to take it, but now looking at this candle here, I'm not sure if I'm really, let's see. I need to see how this candle here closes. Because if it has a big wick, then it's kind of tricky. So we have a breakout V3 continuation kind of pushing through right here. This is getting close to the what's touching the news price. I'm not going to take this here, of course. It's not looking good. So this is what I was kind of worried about, what I said. Yeah, it has to like for sure close red. And this looks like it's possibly going to fake out. So look out for the fake out right there, for it to pull back into the range. Well, there goes one of the opportunities that I was hoping that would come up, but it's okay. Yeah, Daniel said, I think we had a real BB3 set up at 47. Yeah, I was looking at, well, this one right here was against the trend, so I wouldn't have taken it. Or you were talking about actual BB3. Yeah. So the actual BB3, I was thinking about the continuation. But yeah, you're right, Daniel. So there actually was an actual BB3 that came up right here. The only problem is that it cut into like the red flags, obviously the sessions and stuff right there and opening price. But that was an actual BB3 that came up right here for a full TP. Yeah, so an actual BB3 came up right there. It looks solid. And again, price is now back into the resistance zone. So another fake out there. So as you guys can see, just be careful for these fake outs, guys. The fake outs are going to, that's kind of what's happening every time price breaks out of this area. I would have been okay taking a trade off the resistance right there, but it was the opening price in session. So I don't know if anybody looked to take that, but that looked like it could have hit at least 10 points. If you had like a sell limit right there. Yep. 10 points. So, I mean, if you really want to take something risky, well, not risky, but I think this would be an okay one right there. This here looks like it'd be a possible. No, this wouldn't be a V1 because there's no pending sell signal. This could be a possible CV entry though. So I'll be looking at this for a CV entry. If this red candle closes smaller than this green candle, I'll be looking to take this as a CV entry. It's rejecting off the resistance point right there. So we got 22 seconds left on this candle here. I'll be looking to take this as a possible CV entry for a sell. So we had this high candle with the green. This candle's with the red. As long as it closes smaller than this green candle, possible CV entry right there. So this candle is closing in 5, 4, 3. Never mind, there's no CV entry there, guys. The candle closed bigger. Man, I swear like this market knows what we're looking for. Well, I wasn't expecting it to come down this far. So you can see if the CV entry closed up here, like if it closed up here where it was earlier, it would have pushed down to hit its TP. But there was no CV entry there, of course. So again, no entry there. Yeah, bro. Natasha said so frustrated at this point. Like if this candle closed like at this point, we'd have enough push to get to our TP. And that's what I was looking for. But because this candle ended up pushing at the last second, there was no opportunity there for a CV. So there's still nothing here. Price is just sitting around this area again. I am getting tempted to take a bounce off the resistance here, but I'm not going to do it because I just caught myself there by identifying the FOMO move that could come out of this here. So, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of the case there. It looks like price pushes up, bounces off the resistance. I mean, obviously I wouldn't catch the bounce down below, but all right, looks like we might get a momentum divergence right here, guys. So we have the sell signal, retracement, the momentum divergence could be setting up over here. So even though we didn't get the CV entry, there might be a momentum divergence. Not on this candle, it's probably going to happen on the next one. So we might get a momentum divergence on the following candle. Okay, Jonathan said, take my anger out on the market at the gym right now. Yeah, probably a good decision. If you guys want to get out of the market, you guys can. It's 7:42 right now. It's I'm just looking for the divergence. Okay, so if this candle here closes red, there will be a momentum divergence here. Doesn't have to close super red, but it just has to close red for the most part, because if it closes green, it's going to be a bit tricky. Because the divergence here needs to be confirmed and for sure. So we got 30 seconds left on this candle. Be looking out for the divergence here. So need this candle to close red. We got 18 seconds left on this candle right here. We got 5 seconds here. 4, 3, 2, 1. I got into it, guys. It wasn't a great move, but I got into it. I was watching how it was closing there, and it ended up, let's see.
Order submitted.
So I'll put, this wasn't a good entry, guys. Unfortunately, it was like, I was waiting for it to close, and then it ended up spiking back up at the last second. So this is what I would consider, again, another FOMO move on my end, a bonehead move. But I'm already in the position, so I got to hold on to it now. So unfortunately, I got into this position. Again, this would be considered a FOMO move because I should have waited for it to actually close. And unfortunately, I'm stuck in the position now.
Order filled.
So just holding on to it here. I don't know if anybody else got into it, but pretty much was waiting for this here too. And I got stopped out. Fuck me. All right, so it is what it is. I got stopped out on that trade right there. This here was another FOMO move that I should have held off on, but it is what it is. So I'm going into this month with a red month, first red month of I don't know how long it's been, maybe a year now, but it's all good. You know, I got to go through these phases where I have losing months to just get better and bounce back from it. So unfortunately, May is a losing month for me. First losing month. I wish we had stats for 2022 because like we just have stats for 2023. I don't have enough data to pull up 2022 to see where we were, but it's all good. Take that loss. And it just it wasn't the entry that we were looking for. So, but it was still a divergence. So you can see over here, let's just go back to that candle. It was a divergence, but it just didn't close red like we were waiting for. So I was hoping for the candle to close red. It looked red and then I entered it and then I ended up getting caught. But either way, the divergence here was in place. And I just got caught in the fake out. So price faked out. I wouldn't be surprised if this shoots right back down and hits TP, but it's all good. I'm going to be transparent with you guys. This is how the market is. And I'm going to eat this loss, put this in the stats. Entry happened at 744. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing comes right back down. And there goes a red month for me. So today is May 31st, 24. You guys can see all of my entries here that I've lost are pretty much for the most part FOMO entries. Let's see, it was for sell, loss, -20. This was an MD. All right, so unfortunately for this month, these are my totals for the month so far. For the year, we're still positive, but for this month specifically, down 20 points. We had a total of 14 trades, 9 wins, 5 losses. Obviously, with the risk reward, it kind of set us behind. But yeah, first red month for me here. Win-loss ratio is the worst that I've seen in not as bad as February, but February we were doing the 1-to-1 with the breakout entries. So the win rate in February was actually a lot lower, but we had a lot of profit. But with regards to the regular scalps, I mean, this is probably one of the slowest months we've had. We had a total of 14 trades. Last month, we had 27 trades. February, we had 27 trades. March, we had 18 trades. So yeah, barely any trades. These are like on par with, we'll say, January over here. So it's basically slow like a winter month. But let's see where. Well, I'm not taking any more trades, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to pop into the chat. Otherwise, again, right here, another FOMO entry. I'll put that in the notes too. There. So yeah, May 10th, FOMO entry, 13th FOMO entry. On the 21st, price went sideways. It ran for 20 minutes, no movement, then a spike to stop loss and push back to TP. Tuesday was a clean loss. So on Tuesday, we had a loss, but everything met criteria there. That looked like a good trade. And then for this one over here, of course, FOMO entry, I'll just put this over here. Candle did not close. Red as anticipated. But yeah, other than that, not really too much here. And let's just see if price actually comes back to its TP. And of course, it came right back down. Fuck. It's okay, guys. Yeah, I know, but that's, we just got caught in the fake out. So unfortunately, this is my bad. See, if we waited for this over here, because this is the divergence that I was actually looking for. See how the divergence, let me just clean this up a little bit. There was another divergence that happened right here on this red candle. This over here was what I was looking for. So I said, if this candle here closes red, I'll take the trade. The candle didn't close red, it closed as a doji. And then this one over here closed red and the divergence happened. So this is what I was actually looking for. But the idiot in me ended up taking the trade and then it ended up going through. But it's all good. I mean, it is what it is. I can't be mad about it. I made a stupid mistake of getting in. Obviously, you guys can see the FOMO got the best of me there because I was really hoping that would close red. The divergence did show up, but didn't close like how we wanted to. So it's all good. Yeah, and I'm saying, yeah, it's I'm basically at break even, and that's where I'm at. So yeah, no, it's a grind. It's a grind because we haven't had any entries during this month. Well, not any like good entries. I'm at a break even. Well, I'm at slightly negative. So unfortunately, yeah, this puts me at break even for the most part. We had a pretty nice run in the beginning of May. So in the beginning of May over here, we had a couple wins, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 5 wins here, and then 2 losses right here. Of course, that pretty much wiped out all the profits from the wins there. A couple wins right here. This loss right here wiped out most of these profits. And then I had 1 win right here. So obviously, and then 1 loss. I was at break even until today's loss. So slightly in the red. But yeah, I mean, it's a grind. I'm hoping June's going to be a lot more directional and more volatile so that we can start to have some. I'm like, so what I was aiming for was like 2 trades a day, right? I was aiming for like maybe 2 trades a day so that we could possibly get that done. But this whole week, or not even just this whole week, but in general, there just hasn't been any trades. Like this was a holiday week. So we had 4 days to trade. We didn't have anything yesterday. We didn't have anything the day before that. Market's pretty much been going sideways like this. So yeah, it's just a back and forth grind. So I mean, it's all good. It is what it is when it comes down to it. Yeah, exactly, Nick. 100%. Let's see. Enum's asking, what do you think is the reason your performance is not like it was the prior years? Is the price action weird because of the election? I don't know if you've been on the live sessions lately, Enum, but it's like you can see here, it's pretty clear what's going on in the market. It's going sideways, right? So this is how the market's been for the past 3 months. So there's not really much to take here. You can't take trades when prices going sideways like this. So there hasn't been any entries. And if there is an entry, it happens to happen within the red flags over here, right? So see how price pushes up and down? There's all of the red flags right here. So we can't take any entries. And then when price gets out of this area, it just goes sideways. So you can't even take any trades around this area at all because it's also at the red flags. So the main reason why the performance isn't as consistent as like say last year is because if you look at the charts from May of 2023, so let's just pull up a chart from May of 2023. So May 2023, we're just going to look at, let's pull up this first one right here. See how the market's moving here directional? The market's not moving like that this year. This year, price is just going sideways. Like price went sideways here pre-market and then it moved directional. But this year, it's just going sideways. So it's like not the same market. It's like completely different. Yeah, Enum said, yeah, that's what I mean. It's election year. No, election year should be directional. That's the whole thing. So we were expecting the markets to be directional for the election year, but because Trump has been in court forever, he's not really campaigning. So there's no arguments going on, right? Like you don't have Trump arguing for something. You don't have Biden arguing for something. Like you don't even see Biden at all. I don't even know where Biden is. He's just in the shadows. He's not even on the camera. He's old, so obviously I think it's hard for him to get on the camera and for him to speak. Because he forgets about what he says sometimes, and not even saying that in a joking manner, but he's just not in the right mind to be a president. He's too old, and he's not on camera. Like if we had a president, another Democrat that was still campaigning, then it would be beneficial because he would say good things about the economy and price would go up, right? But we don't have anybody talking right now. So yeah, and M said in the basement. So yeah, the election year is supposed to be good for the market, but because there's nobody campaigning and there's nobody really arguing, there's nobody really fighting for anything here. That's why the market here is flat. Because we don't have any, like people they don't have confidence in the market, right? They don't have confidence that the market's getting better. They don't have confidence that the market is getting worse. It's just everybody's kind of neutral. So we'll see. I mean, yeah, there's not much that we can do here, but I guess we'll have to see how things move as we get closer and closer into the summer. Yeah, exactly. Nick said it's the calm before the storm for sure. Yeah, because I'm assuming that they should start campaigning soon. The election's happening in November. So we have, let's see, June, July, August, September, October, November. We have 6 months till election. There's no campaigning that's really going on that's been going on. So we're going to probably see it pick up during the summer. If there's another Democratic runner that's going to run against Biden, then possibly, but I don't really see any news about anybody really running. And then for the Republicans, of course, we have Trump and then a couple other people, but there's really only one candidate that's going to be able to seal the deal. Yeah, Kenny said, I've heard this is normal and more realistic. The past couple of years have been very volatile and almost unrealistic. The price change percentage has been ridiculous comparative to pre-COVID. So I think that's the case for regular stocks, Kenny, but I think for the indexes, it's always been kind of directional. Like if you pull up the data from so let's go to the daily, or even the weekly. I don't know how far this goes. But yeah, so like 2023, right? Like May, we can't go to the smaller candles, but you can see over here from like May, we'll just let's see, May 3rd up until June. So you'll see from like May until June, it still moves like about like 3,000 points, right? 3,000 points is 30,000 pips. So you can see even like back then it still moves. So like, even this is like way back in 2003. The indexes typically still move because the indexes are a compilation of like, all of the stocks. The regular stock market and options market, like the market in general, the smaller assets, they typically do slow down a bit and they don't really have much movement. But for the indexes like YM, ES, NQ, even gold, stuff like that, that stuff is always moving because they're basically like, a basket of like a whole bunch of like high, fast moving stocks. So yeah, I mean, from what I've learned, and I've been trading for a long time now, I think this is normal for summer market, but not for spring. But I mean, I guess we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens over the next couple of months or so. So, all right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, not really expecting much to happen here. So we'll probably have to just wrap this up and come back next week as we kick off June. So unfortunately, red month for me, red day for me. Let me put the loss over here, actually. Wrong chart. That loss over here. There we go. And I've updated the spreadsheet, so like all the trades there are pretty much listed. So we got some more profits over here from Natasha. So we got a couple people here who still locked in some profits today. We got Natasha with a total profit of 254 on her first account. Nice work right there, Natasha. We got Natasha's second account, total profit of 425. Great work. And we have Narita over here, total profit of, let's see, 4,401 on his first 4 accounts. 3,681 on his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 accounts right here, and 4,171 on his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 accounts down here. So nice work right there, Naif, with all of your profits so far. So that looks good right there, guys. But yeah, guys, back to what I was saying, there's not really much else here to take. As you guys can see, price just continues to go sideways right here. It's the same movement that we've seen for the past couple of days. A lot of fake outs, a lot of traps being set up over here. Yeah, unfortunately, I got caught in the trade there, and price ended up coming right back down right here. And again, right here, another fake out above. So yeah, if you guys don't have to trade, I'd probably just wrap it up. I'm not really expecting too much to happen from now until like say 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And I think price is just going to keep consolidating within this resistance level. So, all right, guys, if there's anything else that you guys want to ask, feel free to reach out. You guys can reach out to me on Discord. Otherwise, we're going to wrap up this week, wrap up this month, and then come back for June fresh. Hopefully that month will be a lot better. And then we'll be back on track for the rest of the year. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here